3 models, 1 launch, and a new API primitive that can write and run its own code inside your agent pipeline. OpenAI shipped the GPT-5.6 family on July 9th. Here's what actually changed, what it costs, and the one thing your security team needs to know before you touch it in production. The GPT 5.6 family has 3 tiers. Sol is the flagship. Terra is the balanced mid-tier. Luna is the cost-efficient option. This is OpenAI's clearest tiered lineup yet, and the pricing reflects it. Sol runs $5 per million input tokens, 30 out. Terra is half that. Luna drops to $1 in, 6 out. Integrated cache support is built into all 3 tiers, which matters if you're running high-volume retrieval workflows. On benchmarks, and I'll flag these are OpenAI's own numbers, Sol hits 92.2% on BrowseComp and an 80 on the Artificial Analysis Coding Agent Index. Those are strong numbers for web-grounded reasoning and code agent tasks specifically. OS World 2.0 and Terminal Bench 2.1 also show improvements in computer use scenarios. I'll link the source in the description so you can read the methodology yourself. The most architecturally significant thing in this release is programmatic tool calling. Here's what it actually does. In a standard tool calling loop, your model calls a tool, gets back a payload, and passes that payload, often in full, into the next context window. That's expensive and slow when you're chaining dozens of tool calls. Programmatic tool calling lets the model write a small, in-memory program to filter, transform, and coordinate tool outputs before they hit the context. Latency goes down. Token consumption on intermediate steps goes down. That's the upside. The downside is that you now have a model that can author and execute code inside your pipeline boundary. If you're running zero data retention configurations, you need to verify explicitly how this interacts with your sandbox. OpenAI's docs reference ZDR compatibility, but the specifics of what executes where are not fully spelled out yet. Before you enable this in a production environment, treat it like you would any code execution primitive. Audit the blast radius, define the sandbox boundary, and make sure your security team has signed off on the execution model. This is not a reason to avoid it. It's a reason to scope it carefully. The second major feature is what OpenAI is calling Ultra Mode. Native parallel agent execution, defaulting to 4 agents running simultaneously. The pitch is that complex reasoning tasks benefit from agents working in parallel rather than sequentially. The benchmark evidence for this is medium confidence. It's referenced in launch materials but sourced from internal testing, not an independent evaluation. What I can tell you is the architectural implication. If you're currently running external orchestration, something like a custom LangGraph setup or a hand-rolled agent supervisor, you now have a native alternative. The question is whether you want to hand that orchestration logic to the model layer or keep it in your application layer where you have full observability and control. Ultra Mode is compelling for prototyping and for use cases where you want to reduce orchestration code. It's less compelling if you need deterministic routing, custom retry logic, or tight cost controls per agent. The token overhead of running 4 parallel agents is not fully documented yet. That's an open question you should answer in a staging environment before committing. This launch did not happen in a vacuum. Meta shipped Muse Spark 1.1 on the same day, July 9th, targeting the same agentic reasoning, coding, and computer use categories. xAI's Grok 4.5 is also in this competitive window. The simultaneous release is not a coincidence. These companies are watching each other's roadmaps closely enough that same-day launches are now a pattern. For you, the practical implication is that pricing pressure is real. Luna, at $1 per million input tokens, is a direct response to competitive, cost-efficient tiers. If that pressure continues, and I'd expect it to, you may see further adjustments in Q3. Don't lock into long-term cost projections based on today's pricing without building in some flexibility. Here's how I'd think about this on Monday. First, tiered routing. If you're already on GPT-5 and paying Sol-level prices for everything, map your workloads. Simple retrieval, classification, summarization, route to Luna. Reserve Sol for the reasoning-heavy tasks where the benchmark delta actually matters. That one change could cut your inference bill significantly. Second, programmatic tool calling. Evaluate it. Don't deploy it blindly. Stand up a staging environment, Run your existing agent workflows through it. Measure latency and token consumption, and get your security team to review the execution model against your compliance requirements. Third, Ultra Mode. Prototype it for your most complex agent tasks, but keep your existing orchestration layer in place until you have real production data on token, overhead, and failure modes. And fourth, update your internal eval harnesses. If you're not testing against OS World 2.0 or deep SWE style metrics, your benchmarks are not capturing what these models are actually optimized for. GPT 5.6 is a real capability step, especially on agentic encoding workloads. The tiered pricing gives you more levers to pull on cost. Programmatic tool calling is the feature with the most upside and the most surface area to get wrong. Don't skip the security review on that one. If you want the benchmark sources and the pricing table, they're in the description. Subscribe if you want the architecture take every time something ships. No hype, just the trade-offs.